Hey guys, this is Tim Stout with the Learn to Earn podcast, episode 13, Building a Story Brand. I've got my buddy Nick here. He's with Gigbag Media. Tell us about your company. What do you do?
So Gigbag Media, we are a full-service digital video and media production company. So we can do everything from animation to hiring actors to drone work. I do a lot of commercials and corporate video and training videos, a lot of marketing.
Nick has worked with me on a lot of different projects, a lot of videos that I do. And you'll see, like, we do a big story. I mean, it's basically what they are. Story video. He's the one who does those. So it's pretty neat. And I was talking to him. We talk about books. We talk about business. We talk about business growth, everything that you should be talking about. And he was talking about this being one of his favorite books and a most impactful book. And I've recently read it also. So we decided we would team up on this one.
Absolutely.
So what are some of your biggest takeaways on building a story brand, or what do you know about the author?
So Donald Miller, I actually read. He's an author. He's written some movies. I actually read a book of his in high school called Blue Like Jazz. That was really, really good. So that's where I first was introduced to him. And I read this book. I didn't realize it was the same guy. So I really like his writing style. But one of the things that I really took away from this book is he made the marketing process easy to understand. You know, sometimes when you go to marketing, you're like, oh, well, I got to identify who I am and come up with all these ideas. And the way that he did this, he says, turn your business into a story. Everyone loves a story. Absolutely. You know, I binge watch whatever the latest thing is, or, the biggest blockbuster movie. And after doing that for a living, I'm able to see that story. And I was doing that for my clients, but I didn't realize I was doing that for my clients. So he breaks this down into 7 steps to take your business, turn your business into a story that people want to read.
One thing I like about the book is, like, I've read it twice and I listened to it once. Mm-hmm. Once we started talking about doing the podcast, so I started listening to it. If you can sum it up to one sentence, it's marketing. Your message has to be super clear. Like,
absolutely.
Clear, simple.
Remove the noise.
Absolutely. And one thing he does really well is he simplifies it. It's like a lot of people, when I do these business retreats and these classes, they make marketing so complicated. And it is, I guess.
It can be.
But I think they make it harder than it is, or harder than it has to be. And so with him, you were talking about the SB7,
correct?
The story brand framework. And so I'm going to go through them. Then we'll talk about them individually. Number 1 is character. Number 2 is what's the problem. Number 3 is the guide. Number 4 is the plan. Number 5 is a call to action. Number 6 is the failure. And number 7 is success. So the character, that's the first thing you have to decide who it is. And the character is the business in this way, right?
Right. So he's saying that, whenever you tell a story, you have the hero. Yeah. The hero of the story. Who's the guy that's going to save the day? And one of the things that he said is that your business is not the hero. Your client is the hero.
Absolutely.
So it's not, hey, look at us. This is my company and you want to come to me because we're awesome. It's, hey, we're the guide to help the hero, which is you, solve your problem.
This is hard for business owners.
It's absolutely hard for business
If I'm spending, nearly $1,000 on a video production, I want to be Superman.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be Robin.
Right.
I want to be Batman. That's what I want to be.
Absolutely.
So it's hard. So I guess when you have this discussion with people, is that a rougher discussion, or is it something they understand?
It's really hard because I try to get my clients, when we go to do a commercial, I'm like, well, tell me about your business and all this sort of stuff. And we're trying to make the commercial not be, hi, I'm an HVAC company and we can do, X, Y, and Z. And of course, if your air conditioner is broken, our family-owned business can help you for blah, blah, blah. No one cares about that. They really don't. They care about
what do you do and how fast, how much.
That's exactly right. Am I going to get my air conditioner fixed so I don't have to live in an 80-degree house? And is it going to cost me an arm and a leg? So what Donald Miller talks about is saying that I am the guide. I'm the Obi-Wan Kenobi and you're the Luke Skywalker. So you come to me, I come to you and I go, hey, what is your client's biggest problem? Is it having the ugliest yard in the house? Is that the villain that he talks about? Identify the villain to the hero. What is the problem you're trying to solve?
You villainize the problem.
Exactly. So if you're the ugliest house in the neighborhood and you don't want to have the ugliest house in the neighborhood, hey, we can help you be the hero of the neighborhood and have your house be the envy of the neighborhood.
Yeah. That's what I took from it too. So
yeah. He breaks it down in a very nice way to make it simple. Like you said, people can easily make marketing complicated, and it doesn't need to be.
No. And as we're going through, talking about the external type of jobs, we what you're talking about with the paint, the external job is a paint. You paint houses. You paint houses is not going to make me choose you if I need my house painted. What is going to make me choose you? And that's the story. That's the he takes an internal problem external. So he started talking about the ugliest house on the block, and that's going to have everybody thinking, do I have the ugliest house? And that gets the wheels going. That's going to make him be picked as a painter because he's not a house painter. He's a problem solver.
Exactly.
I think once you can become the problem solver in the customer's eyes, that's when you get hired.
Absolutely. Yeah. You get someone involved in your story and they want to be a part of it.
Absolutely. They're vested.
They're invested in it. Absolutely.
Because you watch 3 episodes of something, you're going to watch the last one.
Right. I can't not finish
How's
it.
How's it going to end?
That's right. I need closure.
Absolutely. How is this going to end?
And one of the cool things that he provides is when you get this book, he gives you a website, and it's basically a storyboard. It's the same sort of thing that I do when I work on my customers' commercials. Is I identify. He takes you step by step. Who's the hero? Who's the villain? What's the problem? How do you solve it? And it makes it very, very simple to identify your business story. And the cool thing is you don't have to have just one story. If you have a business and you have multiple clients, well, each client is a hero in their own aspect.
Yeah.
So if you have, if you're a painter and house fixer, well, you can have one story be the painter and one be the carpentry to repair the house. So it's you don't have to just narrow down to one story. You can have a couple of stories, but your messaging needs to be simple and clear.
Okay, using the SB7, the story brand framework. Let's do this through your business.
Sure.
Okay. So you mentioned HVAC company. So that's the character.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the hero. Yep.
What's the problem?
The problem is it could be high energy bills.
Okay.
It could be.
How do you decide who you're speaking to?
So that you have to.
Because a lot of jobs fix a lot of problems.
Right. So you have to sort of see who your biggest or if you have a goal of who you want to solve the problem for. So, as a business owner, you have to identify, well, what's my biggest money maker, or who am I trying to solve?
The perfect client.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to identify who your client is. So maybe in springtime, it's maintenance. Hey, your system's not cooling your house fast enough and it's inefficient, and now you have your air conditioning is running 24/7 and it's not working. Well, hey, we can come do maintenance on it and solve that problem.
And it's cost effective.
And it's cost effective.
Okay. So the character, the problem, the guide is the HVAC company.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, if it could be, depending on how your point of view is, it could be I'm the guy to the HVAC company, guiding them on how to do this, or the HVAC company from their point of view, they're the guide to the hero, which is the homeowner, going, hey, the problem is we've identified your problem. We've identified the villain. Come help. Let us come in and we will help you solve your problem.
The plan. That's exactly what you said.
That's exactly. Yep.
Solve your problem. The call to action was what you were talking about. Low energy bills. It's not heating or cooling the way it should be. We'll come in and fix it. Right. The failure is not doing it and higher
costs go up. However that it could be costs go up. It could be, hey, you're uncomfortable.
Burn your system out.
The
best would be you call and we fix the problem.
Exactly. Yep. And it's that simple.
Yeah, and it's like we said, a lot of people make it super, super busy.
Oh, I mean, you have graphs and you have charts and you have all this stuff. For years before I even read this book, I always try to the simpler the message, the better understanding. One of the things that he says here that I really liked was you want your clients to burn less calories thinking.
Absolutely.
You know, so I don't want to have to, if I have this sort of fun, complex story I'm trying to get across and people have to think about it too much. And I go, I don't, how many times have you seen a commercial? You go, what were they advertising? You know,
it's not a motion picture. I'm not sitting there trying to focus. I need to be sold.
Right. Keep it simple. The simpler the message, the better.
I agree with any type of message.
Any type of message. Absolutely.
And one thing with him, he talks about, you're talking about burning calories, and that goes back to the primal age when you had to reserve all your calories. Right. He talks about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and he talks about like your first number one is food and water, number two is shelter, and number three is belonging. And this is where marketing comes in. Absolutely. How do I, even as an HVAC company, how do I get you in my tribe? How do I get you as a client? So this is super important, but it's not the most important. It's not the one you're going to burn all the calories on.
Right. Yeah, and it's the calorie thing really, really hit me because as a storyteller, I like to make things fun and complicated, probably more than I need to at sometimes. But bringing it back down to problem, solve it, end. And just keep it easy.
I always, when I do I do a lot of video and it's problem solution.
Yep.
Problem solution.
Here you go.
Here's the problem. Here's the solution.
Yep.
And it's probably too simple the way that I do it, but it's still,
but it's effective.
Third grader. Yep. How can a third grader, fifth grader, how can he understand my message and be able to run with it?
One of the fun things that I do in my job is when I talk with a client and I go, tell me everything, educate me, make me a professional in whatever you do. And then trying to interpret that into something the layman can understand. I used to work at a TV station, and one of the things, whenever there was a problem technically, no one liked going to the engineering staff because no one could understand what they were saying. Well, here's the problem. And so I ended up saying, hey, here's a problem. And then they would tell me the problem, and I come back and go, hey, you need to turn your computer on every once in a while. Turn it on and off, reboot it, and interpreting the complicated message to something simple that doesn't burn calories, to overthink it. I always enjoy that part.
What's the biggest mistake you see marketers doing when trying to build a brand?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they just overthink it. You worry about trying to do everything at once, trying to brand identify who you are, trying to sell your clients, trying to do all this stuff, so keeping it simple and identifying, not trying to go to everybody and solve everybody's problem. You pick your ideal client and you go, how can I serve them better? And going to there. And then once you get that done, moving to the next one.
I do that with my coaching clients. It's like, let's the last, 300 or 400 transactions you've had. What's the average age? Right. What is their familial status? How many kids, if any? What do they make per year? And then it seems like a lot of monotonous questions, but when we figure out that your average is 30 to 40-year-old, married with one kid, making $100,000 a year. Okay, where do these guys go?
Absolutely.
We've got the perfect avatar. Where were we going to find these guys? That's where you market to.
Right.
I've got clients who are like, I've been doing this on Facebook or whatever, and I'm like, you're dealing with 25-year-old clients. You need to be on Instagram. Like, you know what I mean? You've got to be able to think ahead of that.
Right.
Not only who is your client, but where they at.
We've done some training for social media marketing for different groups, and rule number one is know thy client. Where are they? If you, like you said, if you're advertising on Facebook and your client's 25, well, you're wasting money because they're not there.
Yeah.
You have to know where your client is. Is your client a sports enthusiast? Well, then you probably need to be in sports groups or on, if they're 35 and up on Facebook, we'll join some sports, groups and local groups. You have to be where they are. They're not going to come find you because it's too much work. You have to go be where they are and just, be friendly and get to know people and go, oh, hey, by the way, here.
As of right now, most of my business is on social media because my average client is like 35 to 45. Right. And married, 3 kids, that's where my client is. That's what's on Facebook. But I still market to all these other places because
eventually
people don't stay at 25.
That's right.
As they come up, then the things will shift from Facebook to LinkedIn to Instagram to TikTok. It's going to be an evolution. The ones who are not planning ahead are going to lose because if we like it or not, social media marketing is the way to market now and for the foreseeable future.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, we got pay-per-clicks, your only other option now. I mean, because people do billboards, but like, people are looking at their phone driving down the road. They're not looking up, which is sad and scary, but it's absolutely true. It's true.
Right. Or especially, I mean, even when you're on your phone, you know, digital advertising, you know, TV still has some effect, but that depends again on your market. You know, if you're in that 50 to age and up, then TV's primarily a great way to do it, depending on your business, of course. You know, but like you said, they're not going to stay that age forever. You're going to have the next generation that's on TikTok. Eventually, it's going to evolve into something else, and that's going to evolve into something else, which is sometimes helpful when you to get a marketing company who is profession knows all this sort of stuff.
Who is to not their profession is to know it, not to have known it.
Right.
And you run into a lot of that with marketing, and it's like I talk to marketing people all day long. I'm not an educated marketer, but I'm a very experienced marketer, and I know what people want to see and how they want to see it.
Right.
So I have really good success with my businesses and marketing. And I'll talk to these marketing companies, and they're still talking about print and advertising like that. And I'm like,
direct mail.
Yeah, it's like I'm sure that's got a thing for it, but I'm not going to spend my marketing dollars on it.
Right.
When my biggest return is definitely from this. Why would I do this?
Right.
And they're not even asking the right questions.
And you know that because you've identified your client, you've identified the hero of your story, and you know that they're not over here in this looking at mailers, they're over here, and it's just more efficient that way.
Absolutely. And one thing that we've noticed during the pandemic, our ideal client, our primary client, has went from this age to a higher age, to a higher price point. Mm-hmm. And because we're dealing with a lot of luxury now, right. And it's because of a lot of people can sell their homes with any agent right now because the market is so hot. Mm-hmm. The luxury, they realize a little more of what they need, right. And you hire a professional. Mm-hmm. So we're starting to get a lot more of that business, and that's the entire reason. We're having to shift some marketing.
Right. I mean, that's one thing with marketing is you can't. It's not just set it and be done. No. You know, you always have to evolve. You always have to interact. One of the things that with social media that you do really well is you interact with your viewers. You know, it's social. Like I love that you said that. It's social media. You can't just put a post on and be done. You have to interact with your clients and the posters and all that sort of stuff. Absolutely.
If they're going to take the time to respond to something I did, I'm going to take the time to respond to it. If it's a response, sometimes it's like great video, like thanks. Yeah,
but you respond
absolutely
one way or another. That's some people go, oh well, my social media marketing really doesn't do anything. Well, all I see is like you do one post a month and then you don't talk with any of the people that have commented.
Look what I did.
And it's exactly right. I'm now the hero of the story, and it's not the client. No one wants to come up and see you because they're not interested enough. It's not about you, it's about them.
And nobody cares, and no matter whatever you think's great about you is irrelevant to me.
Right.
You're a great marketer. My house is 100 degrees.
Right. I don't care.
But that's what people like. When I first started with a lot of marketing, it was we use a very aggressive approach because of my background, and we've and you've helped me with that. Mm-hmm. We've had to realize that's not always the approach that I need to be taking. Right. So it's like, let's soften it up a little. Let's be friendly.
Yeah. And one of the things that we redid based on reading this is we changed our website around, because we had that, hey, we're looking how awesome we are. We've been around since, 2000, whatever. And we've dealt with great clients, and no one really wants to see the about us. One of the things that I always tell my clients, and it's a struggle to this day, is we've been around for 30 years. Our family owned, business. And I'm like, no, that's wasted time that you could be telling more efficient information. So we actually went through and we removed like 90% of the text from our website. We just made it simple. We say, hey, we do video. Here's some of our clients. We've won some awards. Contact us today.
He gives an example about a luxury like retreat place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who had this big high dollar website built up and nothing from it.
Nothing. Yeah, no response.
It basically said luxury relaxation, and it's off the charts now.
And one of the things that he also did, once you sort of identify your story, is you educate your team on that story. So going back to the relaxation spa, he said, everyone knew that we are here to help you relax. We're not here because we're a fun hotel, whatever. Everyone goes, hey, what is the purpose of this hotel? This purpose of this hotel is to make sure that the people that come here relax. And you spread that story amongst your team so that everyone's on the same page.
Become part of the culture.
They exactly become part of the culture. Yeah.
And I can see that. And it's good that when people get on the same page, because, when you go to resorts and stuff, it's like the good ones, they're all on the same page, what they're there for.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's great. And as a business owner myself, and you probably know this, is that trying to identify your brand, it's very hard for me as a business owner to let go of any aspect of my business. It's just my baby. I want to do everything. And, it's hard to say, hey, a marketer's coming through and going, hey, let me have this from you because you have more efficient things to do. We're going to help identify your story, identify your plan, and then we'll put together this plan for you on how to implement it, because you may be great at running a business and sales, but not great at marketing. And you're spending more time here, not making enough money when you could be making more money doing what you're really good at.
And what you said is like, you'd said that, let someone else do it. You got more important. There's nothing more important than you can do than marketing. Mm-hmm. Marketing feeds your machine.
Absolutely. Right.
But if you've got a top fuel dragster, you don't put 87 octane in it.
Right.
So that's, I know how to market, but there's times I got to get out of my own way. And I got to get someone here who knows more about this.
Right.
And you have to, because I've got people help me with videos, of course,
mm-hmm.
Social media, Google, all these different things, is because I need an expert.
Right.
And like I tell people when you're in business, it's like, well, I feel like I should know it. I was like, you don't know it. Know a guy.
Right.
I know a guy.
Absolutely.
People ask me about video. Know a guy.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ask me about Google AdWords. Know a guy. And
right.
That's all I've got to do. I've got to know people.
You're the connection maker. You know the plan, and that way you can be the visionary and sort of and see the big picture and go, okay, well, now we need to go concentrate on more of this side, so we're going to go to this guy.
And once you hand that ball to somebody else, it becomes a bigger ball for them because they're better at it.
Right.
So it's like it makes sense. I'm handing a golf ball and they turn it into a basketball because they're better at it.
Right. And it's more efficient for you. Absolutely. So it's a lot of good stuff there. But it's hard to take that step.
It is super hard, and that's I think that is the number one reason most people won't succeed, is because they won't get out of their own way. They want to. People, I've said it before. People want to be the boss more than they want success.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people, they just get in that position and they want to be right and they want to tell people what to do, and it's like weird. Everybody on my team, we are a team. We're absolutely. I'm held accountable to things. I've got things that I do. They have things they do, and together we work. We work to grow the business.
Yeah,
and everybody's just as important. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Right. My job isn't here to micromanage you and to do all this. I've worked for micromanagers and it did not go well
for nobody. They might as well do the job.
Right.
Because all they're going to do is tell you how to do it.
Right.
Retell you how to do it.
Tell me how I'm doing it wrong. Right.
And it's just as good. It's just not how they prefer it.
Right. Yeah. It works. My way works really well. You give me the end goal and then you hire me because I'm good at it. Let me do it. That's right. How many times have I said that? Let me do my job. Trust me. Just let me do it.
What is your absolute, as we're wrapping up, your biggest takeaway from building a story brand?
My biggest takeaway, I guess it's two. One is just the perspective of the story. It's something, like I said, it's something that I've always sort of done, but I didn't realize the method I was doing. So it made it more efficient. And the two was just keep it simple. Less calories. That was the biggest thing. Less calories, or make people use less calories to see your message.
Less calories are hard in this place. We got donuts, we got carrot cake. Like it's all come in the last couple of days.
There you go. Yeah, we'll go to craft services after this.
Well, guys, I appreciate you tuning in to episode 13, I think.
That sounds good.
12 or 13.
Ish.
It'll be on the bottom. And with Nick, I appreciate you coming.
Absolutely. I appreciate you inviting me.
And I'll bring him back more of his marketing books, more things that his wheelhouse, which is a lot. We'll definitely bring him on and work talk. If you guys need anything, let us know. Have a good day.